Welcome, everybody, to the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. It's been another big week in the gaming world, and we're here to talk about it. As always, I'm X1 the Gamer, joined by Jordan the Man. We haven't done intros in a while. Jordan the Man is here. Let's go to Jordan the Man. Let's show who Jordan the Man is. Technical.
I gotta find the button.
There he is. There's Jordan the Man. Oh, there's a split screen.
Do you want me to just do Jordan?
Let's just do Jordan.
Hey, have you noticed? Do you notice anything? Look at that. Do you look at that?
What? You're looking svelte?
Yeah. Guess what?
Like
Guess what?
lighter. You're like 6 pounds lighter.
8.
Ooh.
As of this morning.
Yes. Ooh, congratulations.
I just want to show everybody that because that's a very big accomplishment for me. Now on to Mark.
Here, I'll switch to me. This should be me. Hey, I am 25 pounds lighter.
You just had to be better than me, huh?
I am better than you. I am losing weight too. We're all losing weight here. David, what are you at? Let me go back to you.
I'm like 6 pounds lighter. Like, see my face.
Let's pull up.
You may notice it's a little more chiseled than it was a few weeks ago.
Yeah. We're all losing weight. We're all trying to be healthy.
That's right. That's right. Jordan the Man, Mr. McSpicy, you guys, in fact, we should pull up Baldur's Gate on screen here. Baldur's Gate. 3.
I know a channel that has playthroughs.
Mr. McSpicy,
my channel
on his channel is recording the co-op playthrough that we started months ago, and you guys finished it this week. Jordan the Man, tell me.
Yeah.
What? Okay, was the ending everything you expected? Was it a little bit of a letdown? Better than you thought? Where are you at with that?
No, the game. I think the game is incredible. I think the game is very well done. I do have certain issues with the game.
Yeah.
My main issue is Act 3 is very unoptimized, I would say. But I think a lot of people knew that going in. I mean, we basically, the reason it took us so long is because we sat, and we only played like once or twice a week with our group, with our friend group. Yeah. But we tried to basically 100% each act, and it was really fun. Act 2 was fun. Act 1, 2 was fun. Act 3 was very fun too, but we did notice once we hit Act 3 that there was a lot more crashes, a lot more frame rate issues. Now, look, if you're playing on like a 4090 on the PC, I'm sure you're just cruising through everything. But it was funny because
even some of the stories we were playing, we did them out of order, so there was some weird, like, I guess when you have so many if-then statements by Act 3, things are going to get crazy.
But that's really only my criticism of the game is Act 3 was a little bit rough technically, like on a technical level. As from like a story and gameplay level, is just as good as the first and second act. But it was really fun. The ending was, I think, what we wanted, really, like the ending we were going for with all of our characters that we had. There may have been one or two characters where we were like, whoops. There's definitely one where we were like, huh.
I think
didn't realize that was going to happen.
What character was it? I know we had a discussion.
Let's just say Halson in our group did not get the ending that we necessarily wanted for him.
We just didn't care. Although
we already had our healer slot filled.
We did bring him back to our camp, the camp that you sleep at every night to rest, and his body remained with us the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was naked.
Yeah, there was a few. There was a few wardrobe issues with certain attractive characters. Actually, all of our characters were really attractive. That's the one nice thing about this game.
Yeah, mine was an anime.
You were like an anime character. I was just jacked.
Yeah,
and had like the perfect amount of chest hair.
I think Jordan wanted to save that character model for every game that he's ever.
I know it was perfect.
Forward.
I don't think I can. I tried to redesign it in like a single player playthrough, and it just doesn't work. But no, I really enjoyed Baldur's Gate. What made me sad is I know Larian has already announced that they've moved on to different projects and they're doing something new and ambitious and all that fun stuff. I think Larian is a good studio. I've enjoyed all their games. We played Divinity back when, and then we just finished Baldur's Gate 3. But I'm slightly sad because I feel like, at least the way ours ended, you could tell where there could have been DLCs or expansions.
Oh, they left a lot of things.
And it was kind of like, oh man, I wish there was. So I guess my problem with the game is I wish there was more. And there's already a lot there to begin with, but that did make me kind of sad. There was 2 in particular where I was like, man, that would be a cool expansion or a DLC or something like that. But overall, for me, I think the game is a 10 out of 10. I think it's a masterpiece. despite its technical issues, come Act 3, which, at least for us, I know they've had a lot of hot fixes since launch, but at least for us, still persisted. There was a lot of... Mark's whole ending was way better than ours, actually, because he had, like, invisible floating people.
Yeah, well, it was so funny. The cutscene didn't render for me, so I was looking at a wall while everything was going down for the entire, like, the end cutscene.
So did you have to go back and watch? Oh, because you're recording your side, though.
Yeah, everyone will be able to see what I saw.
No, I saw it. Yeah, we were good.
And then it would, like, cut to somewhere else, and I had invisible people, and there was a floating sword, just because I won't say why there's a floating sword, but in the real one, the sword is placed somewhere. I don't know how else to... And a lot of things... I was laughing super hard, and then after about 10 minutes, I was sad, because then I didn't get to experience the actual cutscene that was supposed to take place. You know what's crazy, David? You know, in our playthrough, for the XoneBros playthrough that's on the XoneBros channel, you killed the main character in that?
Yeah, that mattered. I understand.
Holy cow! Like, the ending with that character is one of the things Jordan was talking about, that they could have made expansions with just that character. That's how invested that character was, that in the first 20 minutes you kill.
But that's what's so great about that game. Like, I wonder what would have happened.
And you go into like the quest after that, and it's quest ended. And how far that person...
Wait, so did it shorten your experience then? Because when we made the decision?
Well, on our
yeah.
playthrough, yes. And I was expecting that because I was so sad. If you watch the playthrough, I sit there for like 2 minutes staring at this dead person that David killed and was like, I don't care.
He was depressed.
I was.
Slightly perturbed.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I was able to bang some.
Yeah, I'm really curious how, like, that story would have played out.
I guess you banged
given
me.
given how, like, what happens. But
it wasn't love at first. That's for sure.
But I think Larian outdid themselves with this game. I really do think it's a 10 out of 10. And it makes it so, like, whatever game they come out with next, I mean, I'm just going to jump in because they know how to make games. You know, whether that be the Divinity games 1 and 2, if you've played those, or this new Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's
Gate 3, which is which, if you played Divinity, you can see a lot of stuff that's evolved from Divinity into Baldur's Gate 3. But I think it's a phenomenal game. A must play if you have not played it yet.
So let me ask you this: wait a minute. Sorry, I'm trying to do something on the stream side.
Yeah.
If you played this single player, like, does this shine more multiplayer or single player for you guys?
I think it does I think it does really both. Like, I have fun in my single player. I mean, it's always fun with your friends because you get that experience. So, I mean, I guess you can lean towards multiplayer, but the game's just as good single player.
I think for me, the game's great single player. Multiplayer, it brings an element of chaos to the gameplay, and you never know what's going to happen because certain characters will like certain people in our party will choose to do certain things that I would have never have done, or dialogue choices or whatever, and it makes it very...
He's trying to say that I made choices he didn't agree with.
Oh.
Well, like, even when you killed that character, David, I would never have done that. And you were like, okay. And even at the end of our game, I think Jordan got to the point where he just wanted to beat it. And he's like, I'm not reloading. That person's gone.
Well, what do you do?
I'm not reloading.
Yeah.
You know what? He did his job. He took the hits, and he made it so we can go to where we need to go.
Well, even like when we were fighting one of the end battles, and you're like, I think that guy's dead. You want to reload? Nah.
Yeah, no, let him go out with honor. You know, because he had that whole arc in Act 2 where it's like, let him he had an honorable death.
We're doing our best to not spoil anything. I don't think we've spoiled anything if you haven't played it. It's a great game. I think it's a great co-op game. I think it's a great single-player game. It's definitely one of my favorite games I've ever played. Mm-hmm. And it crashed a lot, and the saves, there was a lot of problems in Act 3.
And did you say how long total? Like, how many hours this was total?
So just our co-op So total, we have much more because we have single player playthroughs, but just our co-op was 100 plus.
Really?
Yeah, according to the save file, which I don't think the save file is entirely accurate. So I think but it's 100 plus. So 100 plus hours into the game.
There was, as far as videos, there are incoming 67 episodes of this playthrough, and the playthrough, there's no playthrough under an hour. Maybe there's one under an hour, but most range from an hour to 2.5 hours on my channel, David. So 67 episodes at an hour and a half a piece, 2 hours a piece. It's a lot of gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's all on my channel if anyone wants to go watch it.
Go check it out.
It's
Where
really
Mr. McSpicy, youtube.com/Mr. McSpicy. I played Hellblade. I beat
You
Hellblade.
beat a game this week,
I
yeah.
beat Hellblade this week, and I have to say, well, Jordan, how far did you get? Because we were talking like after I beat it.
In the later half of the game.
Oh, okay. It's very good. I have to say, first I have to say this. Anyone out there that's saying this game is trash, and there's a few, and you know who you are, influencers and stuff, they're just lying. Those people are just lying to you. There's no way you can say this game is not for you. There's no way you play this game all the way through and you don't say it's at least as good as the last
first one, yeah.
But I think it's a 9 at least. It's very, very well done. It's the best narrative experience that I've ever had on a console ever. Like, it's just so immersive. But then it's also artistic. It really is the way that they handle the boss fights, the meaning of those boss fights, the way they wrap up the story at the end. It leaves you just blown away. But highly recommend this game. Finished it all the way through. I did not get everything. That was like we have right here. There's one of the trees. I was trying to get all the trees. I got almost everything, but I wasn't able to get everything. It took me about 8 hours, and I thought about it all week, and I actually did a video on my channel, X1 the Gamer, about how I actually think that a lot of people said, well, this is an 8-hour game. That's not long enough for a AAA game. No. We need more games in this time period. I am so in this 8-hour time frame.
Yeah.
I am so busy that because I knew it was only about an 8-hour game, I said, okay, I'll sit down here. I'll schedule 4 hours today, 4 hours tomorrow, and I knew I would be able to get through it, and it just added to that experience. So what I did, I went back through on my video that I did this week about short games. I went back through the top 15 highest rated games of all time, according to Metacritic.
Okay.
And looked at their times. The vast majority, it's not even close. It's like 9 out of the top 15 are under 20 hours. There's only 3 that are above 50 hours. And those 3 are all games made in the last 5 years.
Elden Ring's probably one of them, right?
No.
Would Elden Ring even be over 50 hours?
Yeah,
like on a single playthrough? I don't even think Elden Ring would be 50 hours.
Well,
so Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is one of them. Red Dead Redemption 2 is the other. And, well, Grand Theft Auto 5 has been, a decade long, but that's... But that one still, it's in the Xbox One era. But when you look back, all the top games are all Xbox 360 era, some PlayStation 4, Xbox One eras, but they're all 15 hours, 11 hours, 16 hours. Mm-hmm. And I think that there's something to be said about that. I think, number one, if you can make a great game at the level of a Red Dead Redemption or a Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild that is over 50 or 100 hours of gameplay, good for you. I think it's incredibly difficult to do.
Well,
also,
I think it's difficult to do and keep the player interested.
Yeah. And also, I think, for instance, I think all 3 of those games are fantastic. I've only beat 1 out of those 3 games. But I have probably 50, 60 hours in the 2 that I've never beaten. I beat Red Dead Redemption 2. It's the only one that I've beaten all the way through. Grand Theft Auto 5, I've not beaten all the way through. I'm like 2/3 of the way through. And Legend of Zelda, maybe 25% of the way through. That one I did less. And I would be willing to bet that a lot of people also are like that. So I would rather beat a game I'd rather beat a 10-hour game than make it 2/3 of the way through a 50-hour plus game. Anyways, any thoughts? Any thoughts on that? Am I crazy? Is it?
No. I think there's something to be said about having like a nice game that ends.
Well, I think most single player games aren't as long as people think they are. In general.
Well, like, are your because when I think of games that I personally feel like are overly long, the first one that comes to mind is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I feel like it was overly long to be long. But then I think of a game like
a linear single player game is what my brain was thinking.
Yeah, and then I think of a game like, let's say, Tomb Raider. I played through the first 3 Tomb Raiders, and they were, I would say, anywhere between, what was it, maybe 20 to 30 hours for each of those, which I feel like is a decent amount. I know the new Star Wars game is around. Actually, I don't know what the new Star Wars game was, but anyway. But I do think when I think of overly long games, right now I think of a lot of Ubisoft games. But I think that's just because of their open world style, which I'm very curious to see what Ubisoft does with this new Assassin's Creed. So like, it's really cool that it's taking place in Japan. But if it's like another setup like Valhalla, because Valhalla was just, in order to get the true ending, you had to basically 100% the game, and it was incredibly tedious. I was super pissed after not even Jotunheim. It was the first one, Asgard. Holy crap! Like
Asgard was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was, because that was just like, look, I understand that there's a time and place for let's call it collecting feathers, right? Yep. Going all the way back to Assassin's Creed 2. You know, I get it. Like, sometimes you just want to collect 100 stones that are pointless, but that part for me was just so. And what was frustrating is I had to go on to the next part and do all to get the true ending of the game, because it was all locked behind. Yeah, it was way too much. Which is why going to Assassin's Creed Mirage was much more refreshing, because it was like, okay, this game isn't a 60-hour slog. It's yes, there's still collectibles, but they're not like crazy. Yeah. It's, maybe, let's say on average 15 all together, maybe 15 to 30 collectibles per section of the map, and the map's not incredibly huge. It's the city of Baghdad plus like the wilderness. The story it's a shorter experience, which is what I think they were going for, which for me, for an Assassin's Creed game, was very refreshing. So I am curious to see what they do in this new Assassin's Creed Shadow. But
in chat, username redacted says, agree to an extent, but I wouldn't have paid $50 for a 6 to 8 hour game. Game Pass is a great place for this length of a game. I agree. Game Pass is a great place for this length of a game. However, I would say, it depends on what you're comparing it to. I agree. I like value for game. I 100% agree with that.
Bang for your buck.
Bang for your buck. I get that. Let's say you wanted to go golfing. This is my argument I make with my wife when I'm purchasing games, by the way, all the time. I say, well, if I went golfing like every other person my age, that would have cost me $90, and that only lasts me 4 hours or whatever.
Yeah, or to the movies,
or go to the movies, and that's if you bring your family.
At least $20 by yourself.
If you bring your family, it's like $60 by itself, and that's just 2 hours. So, depending on what you're comparing it to, if it's a game that gives you the satisfaction of experiencing an awesome story, experiencing the art, the developer that put into it, and just enjoying something that's fabulous, that's 8 hours long. Compared to other forms of entertainment, I would say this is still a pretty good bang for your buck. But that said, I hate $70 games too. So yeah, But anyways.
I'm going to give you an example. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. How it's the #1 ranked game of all time.
It's an excellent game. I bet you,
what do you think that comes in at?
Wait,
maybe. Well, okay, so let's say you spend 4 hours on the freaking water temple. Probably 8 hours.
It is. So this one is a nice medium. It is longer than 8.
Okay. What is it? What game you're talking about?
Also,
Ocarina of Time.
I also do think they were restricted to the cartridge as well, right?
It's at 20. It's 27 hours, but it's under 30 hours.
Oh, that's way off.
Yeah, but half of that is traveling.
And like I said, a good chunk of that is the water temple.
A good chunk of that is
Right? Is it the water temple? Yeah, the water temple.
Yeah.
Even Grand Theft Auto 4, which is the number 3 ranked game of all time.
I don't know.
So
30 hours?
Grand Theft Auto 4. That's one of the shorter ones of the Grand Theft
Yeah,
Autos.
27 hours for that. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
5 hours?
What do you think that is?
5 hours? Because you just got to beat the levels.
How do I have no
Like,
idea.
I mean, if you call it let's say the campaign, which is basically unlocking each level so you can go back and play them. I don't know, 5 hours.
Yeah, 8.5 hours.
Yeah.
If you do everything.
Is this just a list of like the top games that are?
These are the top. Yeah. And so like you can see, in all reality, in fact, let me
Look at how
go
many
back.
Grand Theft Autos are on that list, by the way.
Dude, there's so many Grand Theft Autos. Look, Vice City was 17 hours.
They
Vice City
even
was
have
so good.
they even have a DLC that's in the top.
Vice City was only 17 hours. It did not feel like. I wanted more.
Metroid Prime.
Oh, on the GameCube? Wait, the
Yeah.
first one or the second one?
Yeah,
The third one.
this is one of the top
First ones?
games of all
That
time.
was a good game. That was a good game. Little Me probably took way too long to beat that game because Little Me didn't understand how puzzles worked.
Because Little Me,
Big Me,
Young Me.
Understands video game theory
yeah.
far better.
Well, I wouldn't say puzzles, but there are like Metroid's kind of like it's like that Zelda formula where like you can't go through this door because you need to unlock this piece of equipment, then you can unlock that door. 10 hours, maybe 15.
Yeah, 13 hours. You're right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime is really fun.
Halo, first one, Combat Evolved, also on the top
6 hours.
top 15
Well,
games
okay.
of
Are
all
you?
time.
We'll do this at a baseline of normal, right? We're not going to talk about legendary. So normal mode, which is what most people are going to pick, I would say
6 to 8.
6 to 7 hours.
It is 10 hours.
Not how we play.
Yeah,
They must have missed their shot.
obviously his first time.
Those are news.
Yeah, obviously.
They didn't.
Those are
Obviously
noobs.
never played a game before.
What they did, they got hung up where they had to find the Marines.
Yeah. You can skip a lot. Yeah.
They didn't. They
How
didn't know
about
where to
Perfect
go.
Dark? Another all-time classic.
But isn't Perfect Dark? I would say 5 to 10. Like just guessing.
Spicy.
I'm trying to think how. I mean, we're
'Cause
going
I'm-
back
I'm-
to Young Me.
I'm thinking about like
Young Me.
GoldenEye, right? Because it was probably the same length as GoldenEye. And GoldenEye was.
No, it was longer.
Was it longer than GoldenEye?
longer
All right,
than
then I'll
GoldenEye.
lean a little bit closer to 10 hours then. Because I don't think GoldenEye was very long.
GoldenEye wasn't. Well,
I'm talking about the campaign of GoldenEye, right?
8.5 hours.
yeah.
And that is it. And so you can see like there's a ton of Marios up there from the Wii.
Galaxy was really fun.
Yeah, all of them are under 15, 8 hour, 10 hours, right around there. And so, anyways, it just got me thinking. And I'm just at this point in my life, and I've said this before, like a Red Dead Redemption 2, I can do one of those a year. But and I think here's the thing that we're battling in 2024 as well is that, and why I would love to see more of the lengths of Hellblade at that high quality as well, because we're battling for attention like never before with games. There's more options available.
I mean, look
to
at what's
more
coming
gamers
out
than
just
ever
next
before.
month,
Yeah,
just in June.
yeah. Not to mention, you then have like forever games, like the grinding, the forever grind games.
Yeah.
The
that are out
Fortnites,
there.
the Call of Duties, the
Diablos,
World of
I would put in there.
Warcraft, Diablos, yeah. Path of Exiles.
Path of Exile. So Sony had their PlayStation,
yeah.
their State of Play. It dropped today. It's 30 minutes long. Now, a lot of people have been clamoring for it. And the only reason we're talking about it is because we're going to compare this to what we think Xbox needs to do here in next week. June 9th is the Xbox Showcase. Our show, everybody, by the way, we'll have our regular show next Thursday. This is our regular show at this time. Next week, it won't drop until Sunday. It will be late Sunday night. So stay tuned for that, and we'll be able to talk about everything that happened at the show. You're not going to want to miss it. By the way, if you like this, if you like everything you've heard today, you enjoy the show, make sure you come subscribe to us on YouTube. You can become a member if you would really like to support us, or you can leave us a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. That very much helps us. So thank you for that. State of Play is here. So first, let's talk about the business. They introduced their new head of PlayStation. He gave a speech. He talked a lot about PC and PlayStation, and this is kind of what's making the rounds. Basically, what's happening.
Well, that's interesting because of the State of Play that happened, what we saw.
Yeah, and this happened before the State of Play today. Basically, he said, look, we're going to bring games to the PC.
However, our tentpole titles.
So let's call it anything Santa Monica and Naughty Dog do, basically.
Yeah, our tentpole titles, let's say the next the next God of War, those will be exclusive to the console at this time. Highlighting at this time, by the way.
Yeah, so
because we know that's going to change. So old God of Wars will be on PC. They are. Mm-hmm. And if you want to play them, you'll have to get you'll only place you'll be able to play them is on PlayStation. I think that makes sense for PlayStation. And I think that makes sense for PlayStation because they're the top dogs in the console market at the moment. They don't have to adjust. But you can see the writing on the wall. It's inevitable that even PlayStation is going to be day one PC. Eventually, the fact that they're even making this move. Well, wait a minute. Why do they need to make this move? Xbox needs to make this move, of course, because they're getting beat. They're getting crushed. PlayStation is dominating. So why do they? Because they all see the same things happening in the industry. And I actually believe that all of this is just proof that Xbox is, for the first time in a decade, leading the way on the console generation. Now, this doesn't mean that they've sold more consoles. Calm down, keyboard warriors, before you comment on this. All I'm saying is it does feel like they're very forward thinking on this, and they're kind of making these moves first, making these decisions first, and we'll see. We'll see where PlayStation is at and Xbox is at in the years to come. All to say, it looks like PlayStation is following a very similar path. They're still maintaining the exclusive on their consoles path, not leaning as heavily into their subscription service as Xbox. That's a big differentiation right now, but it'll just be interesting to see how it plays out. So the state of play, taking that into account, what was the state of play today? Why do you find that interesting?
Well, I find that interesting because a lot of the state of play is games that are announced for, of course, the PlayStation 5 and then PC.
Yep.
There was very few strictly exclusive to PlayStation.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the game of the show is actually the one that was actually strictly exclusive to PlayStation. In my opinion, the game of the show.
Which is the one that's on the
Which
screen.
is the one that's on the right screen, Astro Bots, which we can talk about that later. But no, it's interesting that he says that because God of War Ragnarok, which is the current latest God of War, is coming to PC later this year. And it's funny that he says tentpole titles will be on PlayStation at this time. I think what their strategy is I think they'll release it on PlayStation, and a year to 2 years later, they'll bring it to PC via Steam I think that's their plan going forward, which I think makes sense for them, right? I think it helps them and the developer. So, but there was also they started out the show with what I assume is going to be a live service game, the new 5v5 shooter.
Concord?
Concord, the new 5v5 hero shooter, which does look fun. And I was thinking, when I was watching this, I'm thinking, okay, this game...
It's the very first one.
Very first one, yeah.
Well, not on this. I can't watch on the PlayStation channel because it's forcing me to sign in because it's like...
adults.
Yeah.
You're not an adult.
But I just grabbed someone else's. But yeah.
But no, so while I was watching this, I was like, okay, this is a hero shooter. Like you'll think very Overwatch, right? Obviously, it's a different style than Overwatch, but it's a hero shooter. Yeah. And I was thinking, like, oh man, are they going to do this? They got to be bringing this to PC because a game like this would benefit more players and blah blah blah, right? And they did. It's coming to PlayStation and PC, and it is probably actually I think it says it right there at the bottom. It's probably important to say this because I think they learned their lesson. This game will 100% without a doubt require you as a Steam user to make a PlayStation Network account. I don't think they're going to make that mistake twice.
Wow. Yeah, he's talking about the Helldivers.
The Helldivers issue. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was even rumblings about that on the internet. Like you're going to need it.
Yeah, so. The subtext right there, that's funny.
Yeah. But the game looks cool. It's a 5v5 shooter, hero shooter.
Yeah, it's interesting Concord, they're jumping into this.
But they've talked about live service in the past.
So who develops this game? Valve?
No.
Who's doing
Firewalk
No,
Studios.
it's Firewalk Studios.
Oh, I just saw Valve jump on the screen, but that's the name of one of the characters. Then I think.
Was it?
I don't know.
I saw Valve.
Yeah, no.
Am I crazy?
Yeah, I think you're legitimately
Let's see.
crazy.
Okay, leave it here. Wait, hold on. What is this? What did this mean? Oh, Veil.
There is a that's only a one-letter
I'm
difference.
dyslexic.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
No, it's just minus one letter.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, Firewalk Studios, which is one of their PlayStation studios, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think think it reminds me more of Valorant rather than Overwatch. I don't like. I think.
Well, in Valorant's it's a Counter-Strike hero shooter.
Correct.
You know.
That's what it looks like to me. Whereas Overwatch is more of an objective-based game, where this looks just strictly combat, or not.
At least what they're showing here.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's what it reminded me of. So, and they said when they were interviewing the people, they said every week they're going to release a new like lore video. So it feels like it's going to be a, live service game.
Yeah. Well, and they've talked about live service in the past. One of the reasons did they acquire Bungie, or did they just partner with Bungie? I don't know exactly what the deal was, but one of the, for live service.
I mean, it was an acquisition.
Yeah, an acquisition, yeah.
Now this one's exclusive, right? This one?
Well, to PlayStation and PC.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Who's the current king right now of team-based shooters? Is it still Overwatch?
I mean, you could argue many. You could argue CS:GO. You could argue. I mean, Valorant has a huge.
Yeah, Valorant has a really big.
You could argue.
I mean, would you say?
I could say what's my favorite.
Could you even say not Valorant, like Apex? It's kind of a hero battle royale.
I would put that in a
different category.
I mean, and Overwatch, even though people slam on Overwatch, it still has a large, user base.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd have to see the numbers, but I think most of these hero shooters are fun to play, and I think it grabs a lot of people's attention and people play them.
Very cool. Let me ask you this: does Xbox need anything hero shootery in their state of play, or
they've tried? I mean,
they tried with Bleeding Edge.
Well, they've tried with Bleeding Edge.
I don't know if you'd call it necessarily a shooter, but it was a hero PvP.
Yeah.
Game.
What was that? What was that game where they jump? It's 4v4, third person.
Yeah, I know. And they discontinued that. That was Microsoft Studios as well. That was at the beginning of the Xbox One. What was that called?
I can't remember.
It was the Xbox One era. That was good though. That was fun.
I mean, they've tried. It's just. It has to be very, very good, and it has to come out at the right time. If it doesn't come out at the right time, the people that play those games stick with those games.
Yeah. The other thing is, do they need... I guess what I'm asking, does Xbox need one, though? With Call of Duty, especially considering Call of Duty's in its library now.
I mean, well... those games aren't necessarily exclusive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can play Overwatch.
Like Overwatch. Hey, they have Overwatch, actually. So I guess
we're in this whole new world.
Never mind. Ignore my question.
You're
they
right.
have Overwatch.
I guess, that's...
Never mind. I'm done.
We're still adjusting to that, huh? Overwatch is theirs.
By the way, did you guys see... Remember I said last week, something's going to leak. They're going to keep going. Confirmed from Call of Duty.
Yeah, it is.
Day one.
There was a lot of speculation, but 100% confirmed day one on Game Pass.
Confirmed day one Game Pass.
Which there's the argument like, oh, they're going to lose a lot of money, and then the people are going to freak out because then they're going to they're going to lose money, and we'll close down more studios, and then anyway. But I'm pretty sure. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure the vast majority of Call of Duty's revenue comes from microtransactions.
I think that's correct. We went over that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The thing is, though,
if you're gonna whether you get it on Game Pass or not,
I've seen a lot of people talking about Call of Duty on Game Pass, and I've seen streamers saying like, "Here's the thing,
As they push their glasses towards their faces.
Here's the thing, guys. Check it out. Smash that like button."
Okay.
Here's the thing, though. If I'm a Call of Duty player, I'm just going to buy the game. I'm not going to pay for Game Pass. I don't think that this is going to bring a lot of people over to Game Pass, blah, blah, blah. And it's like...
I think it'll bring some.
Like, what are you talking about, bro? Okay, maybe year one it doesn't. Maybe year one that's not enough. Maybe year two that's not enough. You're over on your PlayStation. I don't need Game Pass. I'm just going to buy this game. I play with my friends on PlayStation. Maybe even year three. But once you start to get into year 5, year 6, year 7, it is a game that you're buying every year, is consistently on Game Pass, plus you've got the rest of the library there, it's hard to see how people do not subscribe to Game Pass. They will. It's inevitable. The same thing happened with Netflix when it first came out. Now, okay, streamer bro, now do that same logic with Stranger Things. Well, I don't know why I'll just buy Stranger Things for the Blu-ray. I don't need to subscribe to Netflix.
Hit the smash that like button.
Smash that like button, bros. Coming at you. This is kind of real talk we do right here on this channel.
Well,
okay.
And I do think it may not bring like crazy millions of people over, but I do think there's a lot of people that are going to be like,
not initially,
well, wait a minute.
But eventually it will.
Wait a minute, Call of Duty on Game Pass. I play a lot of Call of Duty. I'll get Game Pass, play it for a few. I do think there is going to be a bump in Game Pass sales.
Beast makes a great point. Game Pass will also bring more players who will buy skins and microtransactions.
Yes, because
you'll do the logic. People will do the math. It's too good of a value.
Yeah,
value is undeniable.
Also, will you get that discount, the microtransaction discounts by being a Game Pass member? So that alone might. The amount of money you spend on Call of Duty, that 10% becomes pretty big.
So everybody, I just that you can have that opinion. You may be right. You're not,
but maybe.
But maybe, in the sake of having an open mind here, you may be right. I don't see how that is correct. You're going to be right initially, because initially you're right. I don't think a lot of people will make that jump, but over time, I think a lot of people are going to make that jump.
When you see.
Well, and see, I think, especially with this Call of Duty, I think there will be more people that sign up for Game Pass than we think. I don't think it'll be millions upon millions, but I think there will be. I think they'll see a bump that month in November or October, whenever the Call of Duty comes out.
Because Microsoft owns it. Anything like you can advertise Game Pass within that. You can do Game Pass specials within the game with your Warzone crowd. Like, it just gives you. Imagine you're playing on PlayStation, and all of a sudden in the bottom left hand corner, here's a Game Pass. Here's a thing for Game Pass owners. Like, you're advertising via the biggest game on the planet on PlayStation, Game Pass.
Yeah, not to mention, which a lot of people I don't think really know about, but you have Game Pass perks too that can tie into Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We're in a whole new world, everybody. It's gonna be wild times. And if it doesn't work, then there will not be an Xbox left in 10 years. But I failed to see how it won't work. Again, it's not like Apple Music has gone under. It's not like Netflix. And if anything, more people have jumped into the game because it's worked. These subscription models, and I think gaming is similar. But it's exciting. Okay, state of play. What else? What's out to you guys? What do you? Let me ask you this: instead of going like game to game,
yeah.
McSpicy, let's start with you.
Yeah, I'll show you.
What is there anything that stood out to you that you think? Oh shoot, Xbox needs to answer this. Going into the state of play.
I know one. Do you want me to? Okay. So my game of the show, although I will say I was very excited to see the Path of Exile 2 stuff.
Okay, that's all. Can I just say? I just want to pull that up.
Yeah.
Let me just say.
There's two games that I was incredibly excited for.
Look at this game.
Yeah, but this is
I know.
multi-platform game.
I know.
It's coming to Xbox.
But it's.
Did you see the deep dive about
by the way,
co-op?
Can I shout out our friend TIE Fighter? I'm not sure if he's listening, but TIE Fighter, he's a friend of the show.
Yeah.
He tweeted out about Path of Exile, and he was like, ARPGs are at a golden spot. Like, we are clearly in the golden era of ARPGs.
This is like how this game looks. Like, watch the trailer as we're talking about.
Is this the trailer?
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna skip ahead.
Looks a lot like Diablo.
I have.
It is so. Look at the move sets. Look at the abilities. This looks so much better than Diablo 4. I can't even.
Really?
It looks. Watch the gameplay. It'll blow.
Just how
your
smooth it is.
It is. The
also,
combat.
do you feel like the?
Look at that! Look at the move sets.
And from what I'm watching, do you feel like the characters are like the set piece is bigger? Like, you're almost not that you're more zoomed in, because it doesn't feel like you're zoomed in, but they're bigger. You know what I mean? Like that character feels bigger to me than on Diablo. Am I crazy?
Did you just see that title? Here, I'll go back.
Yeah, couch co-op.
Look at this.
Oh,
did you see they did like a 4-minute developer thing?
Yeah.
Video, and they talked about general consoles coming to PlayStation and Xbox Series consoles along with PC, full cross-platform, full cross-progression. They even talked about like, hey, if you want to play on your PC and then you get bored and you just want to go lay on the couch and play, all your character stuff is still there. What is really cool about this couch co-op, so they have 2 individual things, and then you also have 2 individual menus that you can bring up at any time, which is really cool. But let's say, Mark, you're playing, and David comes over, and David's been playing on his PC.
Yeah.
And you're like, David, you got 2 hours? Let's play together.
I got 2 hours, baby.
You guys can both jump in. David can log into his profile. All his progression comes to you.
Yeah.
Like such a cool... To me, that is one of the best features in gaming. Being able to play anywhere and having your save follow you anywhere.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And now, is this still the free-to-play model?
I believe it'll be the same model as the first one, free to play.
Yeah.
So do I need to start jumping into the first one here, or should I
so
stick with Diablo 4?
I'm currently...
It's a really good game.
Yeah.
If you do that. It holds its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't the
currently-
I just remember the skill tree is like...
Yeah, the passive skills tree. So
Phenomenal.
and I think there's a lot to the game, but I'm currently still going through like my playthrough of Path of Exile. I jump into it here and there. I'm hoping to finish my main character before the new game comes out. But Path of Exile, the first game, even with all of the, and this is coming from a relatively new. I started Path of Exile maybe in December. And I've been jumping in.
You played with me years
we played years ago when it first came out, but we didn't really get into it. Like this
Yeah.
time, I actually I'm sitting down, I'm playing it. Now I do get distracted by other games like Diablo Season 4 and other things, but it's still like it's in the library of games, and I do want to go through and beat everything I can and max out a character before the second one comes out. But Path of Exile in its own right is a despite all of its it does have a lot of intimidation factor to it, with like its skill trees and the amount of content that's in there, but it's a very good game.
This from what I see from this, the people that play Diablo 4 right now will stop playing that game and play this one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now there is one very, very, very disappointing thing to me that they announced, not during this trailer, but during their sit-down trailer, and that is the control scheme is twin stick. And I hate twin stick control schemes. I very much hope
Just plug your keyboard and mouse
I might have to. I very much hope there is a toggle. So what I mean by twin stick is your left stick, if you're on a controller. Now the developers are talking about how it feels good and they've designed it, the UI and everything and blah blah blah, right? All that fun stuff. And I'm sure it does, but I'm not a fan of the twin stick control scheme. And what that means is your left stick will be your movement, and then your right stick will be the direction of your character. So technically you can move to the left, but look to the right. And that's the idea. Now, there's 2 concerns I have with this. My one concern is I don't like that control scheme. So I hope there's a toggle. Because in Diablo, taking Diablo 4, in Diablo, it's just the left stick. You point a direction. Now, some may think like, oh, twin stick is better because you have more control of where your skill shots go, but whatever, right? You can have the. I'm not a huge fan of the twin stick control style. I prefer more of a Diablo. That's just me and my first.
Because you're a young buck.
That's me and my first concern.
Old school players played twin stick while you were in your diapers.
Me and my first concern. My second concern is the abilities. So the way twin stick is, like, you're moving with your left stick and you're pointing with your right stick. There's an ability that is attached to down on D-pad. You have to remove your thumb from the joystick to hit that ability. So therefore, you either have to stop the direction of your movement or stop the movement of your character to hit that ability.
What you're speaking of is a flaw with your way you play. If you play the claw, it's not a problem.
If you play...
that sounds like a you problem, Jordan.
If you play...
No, I'm just wondering how it will feel. Will it feel disruptive? Now, you can say the same thing about Diablo. Like, oh, well, in Diablo, you actually have to turn the direction and then hit the button, so you still have more freedom of control. Like, I get the arguments, but I hope there is a toggle to go to, let's call it Diablo 4 controller mode. But because or how Path of Exile 1 is. 1 is the same way on the
Is it
controller.
because
feels fine.
Or a training wheel mode is what you want. Is that what you want?
Is it because we're on this? Like, do I
Twin
need to
sticks
go...
just feels so ugh.
It's because you put both your... It's because you do that instead of play the claw. The claw is the
Yeah, but look at
superior
your left hand. Look at your left hand. How are you going to hit the D-pad for your ability?
Just like that.
You took your thumb off the joystick.
Yeah, but...
So therefore, your character stopped moving.
Ooh, do I need to play the double claw?
You got to do a double claw, which
I've never gone that far before.
yeah, there you go. Have to do the double claw.
Oh,
No,
man.
I'm incredibly excited for it. Maybe I'll have to. I'm playing it from the Xbox. I hope most games like this have keyboard support. I hope they have keyboard support, but the twin stick is rough for me personally. I know that doesn't really affect a lot of people, but for me, the twin stick is just. I hope there's a toggle to turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, learn to play. That's all I have to say.
And maybe I'm looking too into it, but they did actually in the video they specifically said twin stick, and then he even explained left joystick moves your character, right joystick points your direction.
Yep.
But
I'll have to learn to play.
But okay, so my original question though, this still
we'll go to Jordan's.
this is coming everywhere, so
Yeah.
so it's not.
I get it.
This is not a concern of Xbox. And oh, by the way, even if it wasn't, they have Diablo 4. But this is going to be available on Xbox
this
as
might
well.
push. Diablo 4 is gonna have to step
Step it up.
Yeah.
And you've been playing a lot of Diablo 4.
No,
lately.
hey, season 4 is really good right now. Let's not take away from what Blizzard does correct. You know,
Okay.
let's reward W's where they should be
them
rewarded.
Ws.
Season 4 is a W.
Yeah, what they did is they basically made you overpowered.
Yeah, W.
Oh, who doesn't want to be overpowered?
They made your character feel really good to play, and they added a crap ton of more enemies
Cool.
and made it faster to
Done.
level. W.
Tell me why Astro Boy is a game
Astro
that
Bot.
Astro Bot is a game you think Xbox should be concerned about.
Well, I don't know if you want to say concerned. So let me explain.
Missing in
let
their
me explain.
library,
So
their repertoire.
the original Astro Bots came with every single PlayStation 5.
Yep.
It's basically the purpose of it was
show off the
to
controller.
show off the new controller.
And it does it really well.
The reason they had it was probably to show off the controller. Xbox doesn't have those features on the controller, so there's no point for them to have a game like this. But when you play Astro Bots, what's really cool about it is it's very heavily PlayStation themed. So you go into this world, you shoot your little robots out of the controller, and you're in this hub. There's the original PlayStation 1. They have the PlayStation 2 kind of in this museum, and then they have different levels like GPU Jungle, Cooler Springs, like all very PlayStation themed. Even the coins have the X triangle circle.
Yeah.
Like it's very PlayStation themed, and it embraces where it comes from, like with the PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1.
The spaceship is a PlayStation.
Well, in the second game.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
So in the first game, it's very cool. David, you talk about this white glove feel to the PlayStation 5. That game, I think, adds to that white glove feel because it's very PlayStation. I mean, just the way it's presented to you is PlayStation front and center. Everything about it is the history and the fun of PlayStation. That being said, the game is actually an incredible platformer by itself.
Yeah, so it's funny that they doubled down on it.
What's funny is...
Not funny, but that's good.
Well, what's interesting is with the first one, they made a game kind of showing off like everything cool about old and new PlayStation, and they have all this PlayStation-themed stuff. And then I don't know if you want to call it accidentally, but they accidentally made a really good platformer in doing that.
Well, you know what it is? For those that don't know, it's basically, think of a tech demo that's like at Best Buy.
Yeah.
That you use this to show off the place. That's the intention
And
of the original.
I believe on this show, even when David bought his PlayStation or got his PlayStation, I think we've talked about it. I've said that game is just a really good game by itself.
It really is.
And I think it's awesome that they're like, hey, first time around, we were making a demo for the controller, and we made a really good game.
Yeah.
Let's make and the second game looks really fun. They've like doubled down on really awesome looking boss fights. It's got that PlayStation charm again, where the controller is your ship, and the PlayStation 5 is your big starship, and I'm sure they're gonna have kind of what they had in the first one, where you have the old PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and like they had kind of like that museum room where you can do a big picture. Anyway. Where I'm saying I wish Xbox had an answer to this is when I buy a PlayStation, this feels cool. It feels nostalgic. It feels fun to go back. I'm like, oh yeah, this is where PlayStation came from, and this and that. Xbox doesn't have anything like this. Yeah. I think this is very unique to PlayStation, and I think it's very fun and unique. And I wish Xbox had something like that.
And it's a free game that you can jump right in and play.
Well, I don't know how.
Now, is this
I don't know what the price on that. This looks like it's going to be a full-fledged game, but I wish when Xbox comes out with their new console,
you hope.
I hope that they have just a little free demo that
goes through the history of Xbox.
That goes through I don't know. Yeah, it's hard.
This is the 3 Ring of Death.
That is uniquely
that would be
Xbox.
a great level, lava level or something. But you've played Astro, but I've played it multiple times with my kids. Like they love this game.
It's really it's a really
that
smart idea.
Yeah, that feeling like it's like, oh, it's cool. The reason it existed, and that's why it's kind of hard and maybe unfair to say that Xbox needs one, but it existed to show off that controller.
Yeah.
But in doing so, it
does a great job in showing it off.
In doing so, they actually made a really good platformer where it's like, man, this could have been its own game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for this.
So now
this is what I will purchase this game when it comes out because I had a lot of fun with the first one.
Very cool. So was this the only strictly exclusive game for the State of Play?
You had Until Dawn Remastered.
Yeah, remasters don't count.
And then I thought Silent Hill was going to be exclusive, but it's exclusive to PlayStation, but it is coming to Steam as well.
Can we pull up? So let's summarize this. State of Play, based off what you saw of the PlayStation State of Play, now we've got the Xbox Showcase coming up.
Yeah.
Do you have a feeling? Do you think is there anything to worry about here for Xbox, or do you think that Xbox is set up nicely to kind of steal the day?
I guess it depends. I mean, does Xbox have any games that they want to announce? Right? I mean, it all depends on what they announce. Yep. We know they have 3 solid games coming later this. Well, we know they have Indiana Jones, they have Avowed, and they have Call of Duty.
I mean, and Call of Duty is going to be big. It's an unveiling.
Yeah, You have 3 solid games coming at the end of the year. Are we going to see more Avowed? Are we going to see more Indiana Jones? I don't know. I think maybe they had their time last
Fable?
year. Well, I could tell you what I'd like to see. I mean, I would like to see the progress on Fable. I would love to see a new Gears of War.
A lot of people are thinking Gears 6, yeah. Or a lot of people are also thinking a Gears, Master Chief Collection type of thing.
That would be fun. Maybe announce that, and that comes out at the end of the year, like a Marcus Phoenix collection, and then you got the new Gears 6, it would be, right? Yeah. Gears 6 next year.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool. The things that I would like to see, this is just me.
Give it to me.
If I can see this, we'll see how it goes, whether it's a winner or not. I mean, I would like to see Gears 6.
Boom.
I would like to, I think I said it a few weeks ago. My body's ready for a new Gears of War. We've actually been talking about, now that we finished Baldur's Gate, and we've been talking to you, David. It's like, well, what's our next game? Do we go through Gears of War? That would be fun. Maybe we go through.
I fired it up this week.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
I did. Good time.
So I would like to see Gears. I would like to see some progress on Fable, and I don't need to see this, but I would like to see what is happening with the next Halo. What are we doing with Halo? Where is Halo at? What is our plan with Halo?
I hate to say it, I think it's too soon.
It may be, but I would just like to see where we're going. Those are the kind of things I want to see. Now, a lot of people online are talking about, maybe we'll see State of Decay 3, Contraband, Perfect Dark. All that'll be great, but I'm just kind of...
Elder Scrolls at all? Anything new?
No. I think we'll see
Space?
I think we'll see a trailer for Shattered Space.
Which I also have fired up Starfield, and I've gone through NG Plus now because you can reclass your whole guy. What an update! And I'm very much enjoying my new. I went and talked to my mom and dad.
Good for you.
Good for you. They're good people.
Yeah.
You chose to have a mom and dad.
Yeah, I'm a little tired of
send them money.
Sending them all my money, but at least I know they're there. But no, Starfield is at a very good place right now. And so Shattered Space would be interesting, but spicy.
I think Jordan covered a lot of the things I want to talk about.
Do you think, though, after watching
what's your, if you can take one game out of this, what do you want to see?
Probably Gears.
Yeah,
I think it's time.
Your body's ready too,
My
huh?
body.
Oh, I downloaded Gears Tactics, by the way. Maybe we play that together.
Oh, that would be fun,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, we could play that together.
The only thing I don't like as much, if you like XCOM, you like that style of game. XCOM just felt more
fleshed out.
Better.
Gears seems more super linear in a way, and XCOM felt like, even though it was linear with certain things that randomly happen, it wasn't like mission based. You know what I mean? I mean, it kind of was, but it's way more randomized, and it felt like the replayability was far higher on an XCOM. But I still think it was Gears Tactics is a really fun game if you like XCOM style games.
So after watching State of Play, we have the showcase. Is Xbox in a good position, you think, to knock this out of the park, to meet it, to exceed it? What do you think?
Well, with State of Play, what I liked about it, and I know, like, when I was watching it, I saw a lot of comments and stuff. People just have they don't like things anymore. They're
Yeah.
you know.
Well, they immediately pick a team.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily that. Like everything sucks to them, and I'm.
It's the banality of evil, right?
And I like games, and so watching the state of play, it was just talking about even if I wasn't interested in the games, I just like that games are being talked about. I like that games are coming out. There was a game that's not on. I was looking for it on this, David. This is from GameSpot. It's best PlayStation state of play trailers. I was looking for the game, so they did not include that trailer in this. It was a designer game, and it reminded me of something. You know,
was it Infinity Nikki?
Yeah, where she runs around and she takes pictures of her outfit,
which has been described as Breath of the Wild, but with really cute outfits.
And I was thinking David would love this game.
Oh, I need to play that.
Because I don't understand.
I think that might have been a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, and we're watching Marvel stuff. But I like games, and even if they're games that I don't enjoy, what I like about this format is it shows trailers. There's maybe a 30-second interlude where they say, we're going to come out with cutscenes every week. It's going to be great for Concord, for example.
Yep.
And then they go gameplay. It's so cool to see the new games, new IPs, things I haven't seen before. It reminds me of like the old PlayStation 1 games when you got the disc of demos that you just tried out an hour of gameplay of those games that and it's like, cool, games are awesome. Maybe I'll go get this game type thing. That's the format I like. I'm with you, David, even though I defended the format of the documentary style developer, where
the Starfield one.
Yeah. I defended that style, but that's not the style I like to watch. I agree with you there.
Yeah.
I like to see the gameplay, and if Xbox comes out with that style of showcase where it's gameplay, which they've done for like 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
So I assume it's going to continue. I'm going to say, yes, they can compete, and yes, I'm excited to do it. I don't necessarily put PlayStation against Xbox. I put them with each other, and I'm just glad to see games come out. I
put them against each other. And not that I like hate PlayStation or anything, but just from I didn't watch State of Play yet, but I'm watching Twitter, news, etc., reactions to it. And it doesn't seem like they've really had that wow moment.
I would say Concord was the big one, and Path of Exile.
Yeah, well, we already know PlayStation has already said that there's going to be no major first party titles this year.
Yeah.
So like God of War, Uncharted, or Last of Us, or whatever you want to call it. So we already know.
Yeah, and so I'm curious.
So
I'm curious if Xbox has a wow moment. I think they have an opportunity to kind of own the narrative in a positive way here. They already have Call of Duty, which is huge, which alone might own the narrative.
Personally, I think that's going to be their wow moment.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be Call of Duty, and
but the thing is, there's the showcase, and then Call of Duty is after.
Well, I'm sure they'll show a trailer for Call of Duty at the end of the showcase, and then they'll just go right into Call of Duty. But the reason is because, again, this is the first Call of Duty that had the extra year development cycle. So they have a whole year of stuff that they could have done. It's the first Call of Duty under Xbox. It's the first Call of Duty coming to Game Pass, the first new Call of Duty coming to Game Pass. I think that's going to be their way. It's Black Ops, which is very well liked amongst the Call of Duty community, or at least the Black Ops franchise itself. So I don't know. I mean, I hope they have other wow moments, but I think that's going to be it's definitely going to be a big focus.
One. That's a built-in big one already.
Yeah, it's built in, but do they have to do something different to make it a wow moment? Because Call of Duty.
Well, I mean, it will be. I think it will be this wow moment when on stage or on screen, whatever, they talk about Game Pass and Game Pass Ultimate, and Call of Duty is there. I had this thought the other day as well. Is Call of Duty the kingmaker? Whatever console,
that's true.
Whatever console has had Call of Duty has dominated. The last time Xbox had Call of Duty, Xbox 360, Xbox dominated.
Because if you remember during the 360 era, like the tournaments were done on, some tournaments were done via Xbox. Then you had all the DLCs first right?
Yeah.
During the next era, which was the Xbox One era, PlayStation had all the
Yeah.
DLCs first.
Well, you could also say Destiny, because I think wherever Destiny leans, it's the same thing too. Because Destiny had the exclusives.
Destiny leaned PlayStation.
Lean PlayStation with
Then they came to the middle.
They had strike
Now they're
missions.
kind of back.
Yeah, they had strike missions that were only available to PlayStation for a year. You know, they
Well, but Destiny we don't have across. I mean, we have across 2 generations now, kind of. We're like not. But whereas Call of Duty,
Yeah,
we have more generations.
But you're right.
And
You're right.
and it's not to say that
that's
Call
cool.
of it's not to say that Call of Duty is the kingmaker, but what I think it is to say is that when a company is focused, you go and get yourself, you do what you need to do to get yourself Call of Duty, the biggest game in the world, the biggest game on the planet. And when you do that, everything else, because of your focus, everything else kind of falls in line. So we may be at the precipice. I've said this before. It feels like we're in between the Xbox and Xbox 360 era, and we're right about to hit that stride.
Do you think Microsoft will? I don't think they'll shift back to that 360 PlayStation 4 era where like DLCs are first on Xbox. I mean, do you think
they may.
Do you think
Why
they'll?
not? They can.
What would they do like for example? I think they'll do Game Pass perks. Like, hey,
I don't even think you need perks.
Get 1,000 COD coins for Game Pass perks. You know what? I think they'll do Game Pass perks.
Yeah.
But will they do
those
like
Game Pass perks? I don't think
are they gonna do new Warzone map a week early on Xbox or
No,
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I genuinely don't think you need any of that. You want to know why? Because anytime you see Call of Duty, you want to know what you're going to see right next.
The
right next to
Xbox
it?
logo, yeah.
Available on Game Pass. Available on Game Pass. Available on Game Pass. You're not even going to see the Xbox. Who cares if you see the Xbox logo? It's going to be available on Game Pass. You fire that thing up on the PlayStation 5, available on Game Pass. And it's just over and over and over and over again. It just reiterates the Game Pass and the value of Game Pass. And that's huge. That's huge just from a brand awareness standpoint.
Yeah. I'm very interested to see like I wonder if we'll get the numbers for like the first 7 days because I really think them having this extra year is going to be really big for Black Ops, and I think like look what Modern Warfare did. Wasn't it like the most profitable Call of Duty when they re-released Modern Warfare? I don't know what it's been since then. Like with I know Modern Warfare 3 wasn't super well received, like at least with the campaign and stuff. But anyway.
It's very interesting, though. Yeah, I had that thought like 2 nights ago. Laying in bed, I was like, wait a minute. Is Call of Duty the kingmaker?
Yeah.
They kind of are.
That's a cool...
Yeah, and
way
so
to
when I
think
say,
about it.
just to clarify, when I say I pit them against each other, what really interests me is to watch Xbox strategy versus PlayStation strategy. Here's the thing. A few days ago, we didn't know when a state of play was coming for PlayStation. So they decided to do this now. My question is, why? I think it's a deliberate decision to go
First.
the week before Xbox because... if you know you have a big hitter, that you have something that's just going to absolutely own the narrative here, you go after Xbox to steal the thunder. You go before them if you don't. And so I'm going to be very curious now, can Xbox do that? What do they have for this state of play? What's coming? Is this a kickoff to the Xbox domination generation, or do they fall flat?
Look, if you want a decisive victory by Xbox, if they do this, they get a victory. They announce Gear 6. They announce a Gears of War remastered coming this year, Gear 6 next year, and then you end it with the Call of Duty thing.
Dude, no.
That's a huge...
Pew Pew Padawan MMA says in chat, how you end it is after showing Black Ops 6, they say, now available to play on Game Pass.
That would be...
right
that
now.
would be...
That
would be the most insane... That would literally break things.
That breaks the internet.
That would
you want to get people to Game Pass, though.
That would break people's mental...
This is what you do. Releases, and you give the release date, and the release date is what? When is traditionally Call of Duty? October?
October,
11,
November.
11, I remember that one.
So October
That was
11th.
Skyrim.
Oh, that was Skyrim?
Yeah.
So it comes
Not
up.
close.
It comes up October. This is just hypothetically. And then it fades away, and it was like, all right, October, that looked good. And then goes, available now on Game Pass. How many people jumped to Game Pass for that?
Everybody.
A lot.
Yeah.
Everybody.
You would
That
have
would be huge.
People's minds would break.
That
if
would
they
be
did something-
huge.
If they did something like that, that would be.
That's the ultimate.
That would get so many subscriptions.
That's the ultimate SmackDown.
That would be. Yeah, that would be. Whew.
That would be cool. Hey, Xbox, if you're listening,
That's a smart move.
That would
if
be
you
cool.
want to sell your
I don't know if they can. I don't know, like legally, because you remember they have all these agreements legally on stuff what they can.
Well,
and
they're
can't do,
not
but
releasing it on other platforms. They're just
Yeah.
releasing it on Game Pass
It's
first.
it's a timed exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like a full access to the game. Call it a beta,
call
but
it
just
a beta.
full access for 5 months.
Well,
4 months?
You could call it a beta.
What was really
But
interesting?
imagine like the string go by and we're like, yeah, that was cool, and then goes available now. on
Beta
Game
now
Pass.
until release.
Yeah, beta now.
Available on Game Pass.
Available on Game. You don't
Well,
even
so they
I don't even
do
think you say beta. I think you have that in small writing in
like they always do.
You just say available now.
You
on
say
Game
beta
Pass.
because that fixes every frame rate discussion.
Yeah.
Beta is that's how you do it.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned like because they have like the FTC like restrictions and stuff or what? I mean, do we know exactly what those restrictions are?
I'm just speaking. I don't know any of that.
Because going
details.
to Call of Duty, saying it being the kingmaker during that FTC Call of Duty.
Hey, hold on, pause. I just found my new girlfriend.
Yeah, this is
Hey,
the
that's
new
Monster
Monster Hunter
This
Wild.
one looks fantastic. I mean, just because we've played the others.
It's really interesting what Call of Duty does for your platform because in my view, I would think King would be the more valuable. Like if you look at it from a business perspective, King would be your more valuable.
Well,
purchase.
King is different though. Like King is
like
not,
King is your moneymaker. Candy Crush.
King is different though in my mind. Yeah, King I think is used for another purpose, but this is like
To make money.
you want to shake the world.
King is used to make money to fund everything else.
There you go. Cooper says it. Just say game preview.
Game preview until release.
In game preview. Game Pass. Available on Game
That
Pass
would
now.
be nuts.
Game preview.
No, but it's interesting how much effect Call of Duty has on the platform.
They're the
It's-
kingmaker.
Yeah, well, and it's very interested that even Sony, when Jim Ryan was going through it, he was very focused on Call of Duty, and we even talked because I was always thinking like, well, why isn't anybody worried about King? Because they're the one like that's the moneymaker out of the big purchase. Because what was the money differential between King and like the rest of Activision Blizzard? It was huge. How much money has your household spent on that game, Mark?
My wife plays that a lot. She never spends money on it.
Oh,
she's
really?
A, she's
Yeah,
a
wow.
unique case. But yeah, she's
So
on,
they're
like,
losing money on your
she's-
household.
Yeah, I've done the math. She's more of a gamer than I am, if you consider that a game.
If you consider that a game.
But yeah, she is up there. I'll tell you after the show. I don't want to embarrass her. I'll tell you after the show what level she's
Well,
on.
we'll see
And
next.
then you can do the math.
We'll
Yeah.
see Sunday Xbox Game Showcase.
Not
We've
this
got
Sunday, but following Sunday.
next Sunday.
And that's
the
when our
following
podcast
Sunday,
will be,
June
right?
9th. Yes, this is our last normal podcast for the next week, and then so next week we won't be on Thursday. Everybody, we will be on Sunday, June 9th. That night after the Xbox Showcase, we'll be able to discuss it, talk about it. Very exciting. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they do. It's gonna be very interesting to see what Call of Duty does and what this looks like on the Xbox stage. What Blizzard stuff do they show off? What Bethesda stuff do they show off? What other studios that we've not heard stuff from a while? What shows up there? It's going to be.
Do you
fun.
think that
It's
I actually
exciting.
didn't even think about Blizzard? Like, I feel like their stuff is already like shown up. Like, I wonder if
Do
Blizzard
we
will
get
show
any
up, man.
World of Warcraft on console stuff coming? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's a rabbit hole we can
Who
go
knows?
down.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? Everybody, thank you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, make sure you hit the like button if you're watching us live here. Share us with your friends if you enjoy the discussion. We love hanging out with you guys. We love talking games. We love losing weight together with
Yeah, we're
you.
doing
We're all
great.
losing weight. Look at my jawline.
You're looking good, dude.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
looking good.
Thank you. Like, subscribe to us, rate us over on iTunes. Thank you for all you do. We'll see you next Sunday, June 9th. See you then. Bye, everyone.
I'm walking away from so far